Right, welcome back, and let me again welcome our guest engineer Hassan Shabaan, economic expert. Thank you again for being with us.
Thank you.
And as I said at the very beginning, that the president has given his directives in order to speed up the completion of the infrastructure components needed for the reclamation of the 1.5 million fidans. Let me know more about this project. Let me know more about its significance. Why do we need it at this very particular time?
You see, the president did not really leave anything without really touching. I mean, industry, infrastructure, and definitely agriculture is a main topic on the presidential agenda. The 1.5 million faddan is just the beginning, because we have plans for more than that. But phase one is 1.5 million faddan, just to establish the infrastructure for the area we're cultivating right now in Farafra, in Minya, in Maghara, the whole
South
thing.
Sinai, yes.
Right. Well, I'm talking about the Western Desert especially,
yes.
actually. This is the main target for the 1.5 million faddan, regardless of what's happening in Sinai, because Sinai and Tur area and this particular area is a little bit different. First of all the new areas that we're cultivating right now is very suitable for agriculture. We have to put this in mind. It's not really plain desert. It is a soil that could be cultivated and put on the map. What we really required was water to cultivate the area and have a sustainable development program. So far, we're successful. I would like to see, the 1.5 million faddan turn to be a huge mega company, a shareholding company, where anybody from the young generation who wants to participate, he could actually buy a number of shares and be employed in that particular company. And we will start really a series of villages around.
In that domain, he would be a stakeholder, or rather a partner?
I think we ought to turn it to a shareholding company. And create a lot of jobs for the young people.
Yes.
Tractor drivers, farmers.
Generate a number of very or numerous jobs.
Right. This is one concept, because actually this is a great chance for the young people to find jobs. Actually, this is a step toward the right direction, actually, because Western Desert was neglected for so long. And, the efforts to develop the Western Desert around Farafra and Minya, it was really individual attempts to invade the desert and cultivate the land. There is excellent areas in Minya. I've seen it myself, and around Farafra, excellent soil, but what it really required was water. And hopefully, with the number of wells that we are drilling right now, and so far we're successful in securing water for the areas that we cultivated, actually.
But let me take from a point that you pinpointed on, before I go to the significance of this area in the Western Desert and why. This issue of taking startup or entrepreneurs or youth who are seeking jobs within the context of being partners, and that in itself is something new. I mean, here
Yes.
we're speaking about taking youth into or taking them into the sharing the responsibility of building, and at the same time creating their own jobs that will reflect on their
Exactly.
own
Income.
income and future.
Right.
And at the same time reflects with or within the framework of the country's vision of supporting the SMEs. So let me know your
The
idea
idea
about
actually came to me after what I've seen in the past. The government was really sincere in giving ownership to graduates from agricultural school and young people who wanted to own land, but it did not. They were not really very successful because of the financial burden. And a lot of them had to sell the land one more time to somebody else after, failure in developing the land. But if the government will provide the infrastructure and provide the water sources and everything, and we would have a good project that secures water, electricity, housing, and everything. And this will be in a different way, different from really buying land from the government. You are buying a share in a company, and I will secure a job for you. I will give you a house. A newly married young people who wants to really find a place, and this will create new communities. It will relieve the Delta and the Valley from the crowded population that we're suffering from. This is a different philosophy from what we used to have. We're organizing, we're doctoring and engineering, creating communities. Not haphazardly, but we're engineering the establishment of new communities. Also, I would like to see crops that could be used as raw material for industry. This will create another type of jobs in the factories adjacent to the areas that we're cultivating. Let me put it this way. Suppose, after, the government have tried and they grew clover and, to improve the quality of the soil and make it, tame the soil. It was a wild soil, never really touched by human. So we tamed the soil and we grew something. After we're successful, we're gonna have to find a crop that could create sustainable development. Meaning, I will grow a large area, say 100,000 faddans, 200,000 faddans if it's possible. And I will grow a new crop that is new to Egypt, which is stevia. Stevia is a crop that is new to Egypt. It produces better quality sugar than the sugar cane. It does not consume a lot of water, and it produces sugar that is usable in candy and sweet factories and desserts and stuff like that. Diabetes patients could use it uses a small amount of water, and it creates a job for an industry next to it. So actually it's a chain, creating industry alongside the agriculture and creating new communities and villages to relieve the old villages. What's happening. We've witnessed the government when they were demolishing houses that people actually built over fertile soil.
Yes.
So actually, if you offer the people new houses in the desert with a chance to earn their living and find a job, I think this will really protect our precious dark soil in Delta and the Valley from really being molested, actually.
Actually, why I just wanted to pinpoint on on this idea because I thought it's a brilliant idea, and it will give the chance for our youth in two areas. Enhance their future and open horizons for their participation in being part of
and minimize the
shaping
risk,
up
actually.
their future, and at the same time open this patriotic feelings towards
belonging,
the
yes.
and,
Sense of belonging,
and
yeah.
the self of exactly to the country, because they are shaping up the future
Yes.
of their own country by their own hands.
Right.
So this is why I really wanted to pinpoint on this very particular area. Getting back to what we were speaking about, and the areas that the president has stressed on with his directions and directives in order to speed up with the completion. These particular areas, we have mentioned here the Western Sahara or the Western Desert. There is also the other side, but let me take it from the Western Desert. Why this very particular area is very important? Why is it very important that it would be filled with projects at this very particular time?
You see, we always had this impression that the Western Desert is full of mines left over from Second World War, and it's very dangerous to develop. I think the army did a very good job clearing a lot of mine fields, actually, and now the Western Desert is ready for development. Also, we have to put in mind that the Western Desert is the western gate to Egypt. If you leave it empty, you will never be able to protect the country. You need a line of defense against the unknown enemy. Actually, for 3-4 years, we were threatened by, troops from ISIS located in the south of Libya. They checked our, capability of protecting. You remember the Minya assassination thing?
Actually, they did. Because I don't think they will once again.
So actually, we need to strategically relocate a massive number of people to the Western Desert. We have excellent climate. You see, the Western Desert and the area around the Natrun Valley and this particular area, which is actually we're cultivating, is environmentally it's known as Area 9 and 10, which is very mild weather, suitable to grow a lot of crops. So we need actually to use this advantage and choose the right crops where, as I said, it will create new communities, create new industries, and it actually will not be as expensive in growing other crops. Olive, fig, grapes, a lot of crops are suitable for this particular area, considering the rare amount of water in this particular area. We need to also, always be careful not to choose a crop that is hungry for water, thirsty for water. So this particular area is strategically important from the military point of view. You have to realize that, this area extends all the way to Sudan. This particular desert actually goes all the way.
Yes, we're speaking here about a very broad area. We're speaking from El Farafra, El Maghara, Tashka, and Tilminia. All these are the Western Desert.
All the way to the plateau of Awaynat.
Yes.
The Awaynat area actually extends between Egypt and Libya.
Yes.
And it's very close to the Chad borders, Sudan and Libya. We are just meeting in this particular zone, it is almost, empty area. It's really empty. When you visit Wainat from the Libyan side, you don't find anybody. It's just empty. And it is a good place to start problems for Egypt if we were not alert for that.
We are alert.
We are.
We are.
Yeah, because it's really close to the Aswan Dam, and this is a very promising area. The area of Wainat and Tushka is a promising area for us, actually, and we need to just consider developing the area and utilizing the capabilities of the Nubians in this particular have, large cattle raising meadows, man-made meadows in this particular area. We need to change the philosophy of agriculture, actually.
Why agriculture? I mean, agriculture is a sector in the industry, or certain industries are built on agriculture.
Yes.
So why agriculture? Why at this very particular time? Why agriculture has been throughout history is a main focus for any progress of any country?
I think agriculture means settling down. If you settle down next to your crop, the land that you grow, and you become attached to the land, you call it home and land. This is my land. You protect it. When you look into history, how did Egypt was created? In the beginning, the old ancient Egyptians did not really live in the valley and the delta. They lived in the western desert. And when the climate changed, they actually settled in the delta and the valley. So we really need to reconsider our philosophy of agriculture, actually. It's just, it requires a different type of agriculture, different type of crops. I will surprise you and tell you that these areas actually could be allocated, the crops that we grow over there could be allocated for exporting to Europe directly. We always keep on saying that we require the greenhouses that the army built for vegetable and whatever fruits and stuff like that. I have a different point of view. I think if we grew flowers and we actually export these flowers, because Kenya, the first item that they export to Europe is flowers. And they have a lot of rain and they have a lot of water and good soil. And I think, the area that, we're putting our greenhouses in, close in, in the western desert and so forth, is suitable for that. Go ahead.
I was just about to ask you about the other area, but here you brought up the issue of green areas. But I here have to ask you about the green economy.
Yeah.
Because it is part and parcel of the Egyptian strategy. And it has been also a focus of cooperation between the Egyptian state institutions and ministries and many other financial
United
institutions.
Nations have a program for green economy.
What is the green economy first, so that people would understand what we're speaking about?
Well, people might get the impression that we're talking about agriculture, economical, thing that have something to do with agriculture. Green economy means sustainable development, sustainable tourism, sustainable fight of poverty. It says a sustainable fight to achieve equality, justice for the poor people. It is sustainability, and not really, it is definitely have something to do with agriculture and improving the environment, fighting pollution, reducing the carbon content in the atmosphere. But generally speaking, it is a sustainable thing. It's a phenomena that we use to sustain everything. You sustain the fight against polluting the environment. By the way, hopefully, very soon, Egypt might have good news for the whole world, in spite of the fact that we are, all in this menagerie, the virus menagerie. But we are about to have a device invented by an Egyptian firm that could actually amend gas and carbon, carbon content in the environment completely, and turn hard waste and hazard waste to suitable water for agriculture and drinking. And this is 100% Egyptian invention, actually.
Do we have the luxury of getting to know more about this, or is it yet?
It is, we will not be able to illustrate, but we are working on it, really. We are cooperating with governmental firms, and we actually are corresponding with, very reputable foreign entities, because we found out that something is happening in Senegal similar to what we're talking about, that one of the major charity and establishment is adopting a program in Senegal to turn hazard waste to suitable water for agriculture and drinking. And it was a coincidence, actually, that both things are happening in the same time. So hopefully we will be able to cooperate, with that firm. It would be a privilege and an honor for us, because it's a very reputable firm, actually.
But it turns out that our episode tonight is filled with many of the ideas and surprising announcements. We'll be speaking about that. Before we continue on with our discussion, let's again have another report on Egypt and the IBID. Discuss new 2021-2025 green strategy. Let's watch.